Hey everyone, I'm Christy. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about 5 places that you can live as a digital nomad for under $25 per day. So I've been traveling the world for the last 3 years, living in different parts of the world, in different villages, cities, towns, while I'm running my online business. The places that I'm going to list are not really well known for being digital nomad communities. They're kind of places that I have just discovered along my travels that are affordable and have really great culture, and just places that I'm a big fan of and I would recommend to anyone else. Before we get started, hit that subscribe button to support the channel. It just allows me to continue making videos for you that hopefully bring you value and help you out. The first place on the list is Lake Ohrid, Macedonia. So I discovered this place last year while I was traveling through the Balkans. Basically, it's a lake in Macedonia that's kind of just known for being very chilled out. I kind of felt like it was similar to like the Bali of the Balkans. If you're not familiar with where Macedonia is, it's basically right above Greece and it's next to Albania and also Bulgaria. I would still consider it a hidden gem. It's not a super touristic region of the world, but it's just beautiful. So when I was there, I was actually renting an apartment with a friend, and we were each paying about $10 per night, US dollars. And I just really loved the lifestyle there. It was just such a cute town. You could pretty much get anywhere on foot, or you could take a bus and you could explore kind of the nearby towns around there. There were a lot of really nice beaches along the lake where you could just go and spend the afternoon relaxing. As far as Wi-Fi was concerned, I never experienced any problems with Wi-Fi connections in Lake Ohrid. There were also a lot of different cafes around the lake that you could go and just take your laptop and spend the afternoon having coffee and working, and it was just a really nice chilled out lifestyle. As far as the cost breakdown, we were paying out $10 a night for accommodation, and then we probably ate out and ate in 50-50. So if we went out to a restaurant, I would usually order just like this massive grilled veggies plate, which was just so amazing, and it came with all these different side dips, which were really nice to dip them in, and I paid probably between $4 and $8 per meal eating out at a restaurant, depending on where we went. And as far as dining in, I mean, you could just get like a whole load of stuff and probably spend no more than $20 on like just a few meals worth of food. So probably per day we were spending on average $20 to $25. And lastly, the visa regulations in Macedonia are pretty relaxed. You can enter just with a visa on arrival, and it's good for 90 days and free of charge. So second on the list is Nomad, Albania, which also I think is a hidden gem along the coast in the Balkans. One of the things that I love about Albania is it's still pretty undiscovered in comparison to its neighboring country, Greece, and it has all the same beautiful scenery as Greece. And yeah, the people that I met there are super friendly. I'm really looking forward to going back to Albania at some point and seeing the rest of the country. I loved the town of Nomad because it was just like a tiny little coastal community. As far as the costs to live in Nomad, it was actually cheaper than living in Macedonia. Not by much, but just a little bit. I would say on average to go out for a meal, you'd pay anywhere between like $3 to $7. And as far as dining in, it was just, I mean, ridiculous. I remember one day we went to the market and we got just like this whole load of veggies, and I don't know, we probably had like 10 or 15 different things in this bag, and we went to ring it up and it was like right around $1 for all of it. I was living there with a friend and we rented an apartment just right in the town of Nomad, and we were spending $10 a night each. As far as Wi-Fi, we didn't have too many problems with Wi-Fi. On occasion, it would be a little bit spotty, so I would just go down to one of the cafes along the beach and work there if we were having issues at the apartment. But in general, I think overall it was good. As far as the visa regulations go, 90 days visa on arrival. So it's pretty straightforward. So third on the list is Lviv, Ukraine. And this is the biggest city of everywhere on the list that I'm going to mention. And I thought that this city was just so unique. It was so different from anywhere I've ever been. There's actually not a lot of English spoken there. It still feels very authentic and not overrun by tourists. There are a lot of cafes and vegan restaurants, wine bars. I can't think of many cities, like big cities that I've been, that are this inexpensive. For instance, we were paying I think $8 per night each to rent an apartment in the center of the city, like smack dab in the middle. And I think going out for a glass of wine, you pay anywhere between 50 cents and $1. A meal is like a couple bucks. There also is somewhat of a digital nomad scene there. I believe there are a few co-working spaces there. I personally never went to any of them. We were just working from the apartment. Another thing that I loved about Lvov is even though it is a big city, it really doesn't feel that big because you can walk pretty much everywhere. You actually don't need to take public transport if you're in the city. I believe the population is around 700,000, so it's not a massive city. To me, it felt kind of like a big small town. As far as cost per day, I would say easily you could get by on $20 per day. As far as visa regulations go, it's also 90 days on arrival. And fourth on the list is Lombok, Indonesia. It kind of feels like Bali 30 years back. There's still like a lot of dirt roads and it's relatively untouristic in comparison to Bali. Kuta Lombok is the town where I was staying, and there's actually just kind of one main strip and there's a lot of restaurants, cafes, shops along there. So one of my favorite things about Lombok is just the surrounding areas. You can kind of just base yourself in Kuta Lombok, and from there you can rent a scooter and within like 10 to 30 minutes be at several different beautiful beaches, and you can surf, you can stand up paddle. There's some hiking to do around there. There's also waterfalls. It's just a really beautiful region. It does feel like a relatively young population there. There's a lot of other travelers, and I think there's kind of a small digital nomad community there, but there are not any co-working spaces. At least there weren't when I was there. As far as the cost of living, we were staying in a villa and paying about $10 per night, and that actually included breakfast also, which is amazing. I'm sure if you wanted to get it not including breakfast, you could probably negotiate something. As far as eating out there, I find in Indonesia, usually it's less expensive to eat out, especially if you're going to local places. You can expect to pay anywhere between like $1 and $5 for a meal at a local restaurant. They do have kind of more fancy restaurants in Kuta Lombok, and if you go there, it's compared to Western prices, it's still not that much, but maybe you're paying between $5 and $15 for a meal. So I would say budget for about $25 a day in Lombok. You could definitely do it cheaper, just depending on kind of your standards. Visa regulations, Indonesia is a little bit tricky. You can get a 30-day visa on arrival, and that's free of charge. What most people do who live there longer term is get a 2-month visa, which basically when you arrive at the airport, instead of getting the 30-day visa on arrival, you go to a different counter and you get the 60-day visa, which basically allows you to stay 60 days. And there is kind of a bit of a process that goes into getting that 60-day visa. You have to visit the immigration office at one point during your 60 days in Bali, but it does allow you to stay an extra month without having to book a flight out of the country and do a visa run, as they call it, and then come back in. If you guys want me to make a video about the visa process in Bali, leave me a comment below and I'll try and get something out for you guys. Okay, so number 5, last on our list, is Pai, Thailand. And this place is just magical. I went there for the first time a few years ago, and it's actually about a 3-hour drive from the bigger town, the bigger city of Chiang Mai in Thailand. And you take this road out. It's one of the windiest roads in Thailand. There's, I believe, 762 turns, and a lot of people ride scooters out, or you can take a bus out there. I personally hitchhiked out there. I actually made a YouTube video about my hitchhiking experience, so I will link that below. As far as Pai goes, just the surrounding area is gorgeous. You're just in this tiny town surrounded by all these mountains. It's kind of like a mystical feel. You feel like you're just in kind of a dream world out there. And it's probably the smallest of all the places I mentioned on this list. There's about 2,000 people that live there. And in the actual town, there's a lot of cafes and there's an outdoor market, which is just super fun to go to. You can try a lot of different Thai dishes. And overall, it's just a really chilled out place to be. I was paying about $8 a night to live in my own guest house right in the town center. And food, it's also really, really inexpensive. You can expect to pay, I don't know, $2, $3, $4 for a meal out at a restaurant. At the moment, there aren't any co-working spaces in Pai, but there are a lot of cafes. And I remember when I was there, I did run into some other digital nomads that were kind of passing through or living there for a few weeks or months at a time, and just going to the cafes, you can usually meet people. As far as the cost of living, I'd say you could live comfortably on $20 a day. The visa situation is 30 days on arrival, free of charge. All right, so that's all that I have for today. Hopefully you guys found it helpful, and if you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like the video, and just message me any questions you have in the comments. I'm happy to help with whatever I can, so I will catch you later.